Every year, Defence Forces march in pride and valor on 26 January every year. And in fact, in these visuals, you can see a very special tableau by our own DRDO. And in fact, these are the systems which have been developed by DRDO in India itself. And to talk more on it, we have senior officials from this very organization. So thank you so much for speaking to CNN News 18. First of all, I would want to understand what is the theme of this year which DRDO is depicting.
I tell you, this year's theme is very special. This is the first time we are coming up with a concept that right from the basic chip design up to making our detectors and MMICs, which otherwise we are importing earlier days, which are called the basic building block of our sensors. We have started making the concept of developing those chips with our own design.
Okay.
Right from that, you integrate them to our systems. We become cameras, radars, and all kind of communication systems. We integrate them to as a sensor suite, and that sensor suite goes together to all kind of platforms. So that's why in the back, if you see those clean room and on which all kind of designated scientists are there who are developing such kind of systems day in and day out. Now, if you come down to our main systems areas, there has got three parts. One is called the aerial, one is called the land, and one is called through the water. So if we talk about the aerial surveillance systems, we have got both the parameters. One is called the UAVs, that is called TAPAS, which carries an unmanned aircraft with the electro-optics payload. It can capture the data for hundreds of kilometers away, and it can capture, record, and transmit again hundreds of kilometers far. So that's the kind of the weapon in the sky which we have developed. And if you come to the right, it is going to be the AWACS system, which is a manned one, of course, but it's a big one. It carries both primary and secondary radar systems, which can capture any kind of enemy attacking targets and the aircrafts from hundreds of kilometers away. Now, once they capture those kind of systems, they all have to transmit it via a reliable communication link, which you can be depicted there. And right from that, it comes to our control center. This is all about the aerial surveillance. Now, if you come to the land-based surveillance, we have got the land-based radar systems to the other side, which we have depicted. Through the radar systems, again, from hundreds of kilometers, we can capture our systems, any kind of attacks which is coming out up to. And once we do that, then comes the level of neutralization. Now, when it comes to neutralization, if it's a bigger target, the neutralization has to be with the missiles. So as you know, we have got the quick reaction surface-to-air missiles, we have got Akash new generation missiles and all those things. So they all track, follows, and goes to the final attack and neutralize. Now these days, the smaller threats have come more prevalent. If you talk about drones, which has come for different kinds of attacks, we have got what is called our anti-drone systems. This has been extremely popular.
This is the anti-drone system.
Anti-drone system, you can see on the top, there are radars with the vertical stripes there. So that's the radar which tracks the drones in multiple numbers even if when they come. It designates each one of them, and then every drone has got a communication link.
Okay.
So what we do exactly on the top, if you see that that item, that transmits maximum of electromagnetic waves, which is called jammers. Now through the jammers, you start losing the signals and all those enemy drones fall on the ground. If some very attack drone comes up, which could be a risk more for us, then we have got a hard kill system through the lasers. So we transmit very narrow beam laser onto it and the pinpoint accuracy, and it burns the subject. Now this entire thing, if you look at, especially anti-drone systems, radar and all of them, all our Indian industries takes the transfer of technology from us, and numbers of industries have taken up the
Can we say all these technologies are made in India?
All these technologies are made in India, designed and developed by DRDO with the handholding of number of Indian industries. In numbers, they have been promulgated all around as a more dependent source to protect our country. If you see this side, I'm covering about the water part of it. See, India has got the highest water coastline. So if you want to protect all of them, we need to have, again, all three means. You are seeing the helicopters there.
Yes,
that will be the Duncan sonars from there will be dropping into the water, and from there you can start getting any enemy torpedoes and the surveillance. Talk about the ship, and if you talk about ground below the submarines, in all these three areas in the water bodies, we are able to capture all kind of enemy torpedoes and any kind of things, have a thorough surveillance along the water. All those on real time gets communicated to the control center, and then the neutralization happens. So in a theme, what we are trying to depict through this tableau, that right from basic chips and to the detectors, up to the cameras and radars and systems, making it as an integrated sensor suite, putting it onto the platforms, covering the entire country through the sensor suite, and detecting, communicating, and neutralizing through our own technology, implemented by our own industry, with the mission of Atmanirbhar Bharat. We are committed in our Kartavya path.
So one thing is that, yes, DRDO is working a lot, but one thing is people also need to understand what DRDO is doing for the nation and for the defense forces. So in layman terms, if you can talk about this year's themes, like I understand there are a lot of defense stuff which has been developed by DRDO, but for a common man to understand in like 4 to 5 small lines, what is it that they will gonna get and their forces gonna get this time?
Okay. Actually, I am one among those common men. I can tell you what exactly we do for the country. All these are, basic security of the country is very important. Every common man of the country should feel secured. Every asset needs to be secured. For security, you have to have first a capture around to know what is coming approach to our critical assets. You do it through the radar, we do it through the electro-optics, but that not from a fixed platform. You can do through aerial means, you can through the ground means, you can do through the water means. If you can detect your enemies who come to you, and if you can detect it well in advance, every second counts there to neutralize your threats. So that becomes our phase one. Then through a communication link, when we get those data, then we should have a neutralizing sensors, which happens to be missiles, which happens to be laser, which happens to be electromagnetic waves. In all of these three means, we create those neutralizing agents, send it accurately to those targets, neutralize them in the sky. End of the day, DRDO ensures security of this country.
Well, so you just heard that how DRDO is continuously working in different way to protect and to supply to our defense forces on borders. And in fact, this is the main aim of DRDO to, make everything inside the geographical boundaries of India and to make the country more safer for citizens like us. This is Yash Goel with video journalist Rahul Malhotra for CNN News 18.